that we had, I started thinking about some issues that haven't been fully addressed by the gorge. And it really started with the fire and what a great job we did to develop a safety process. So that was the main reason for me to get started. But I'd like to start with introductions, the town people that are here. Kevin Neely, our mayor, is here. Cooley. And, sorry, Kevin. I know Kevin Neely. Shannon Baldwin's here. And Dustin Wakecaster with the fire. Shannon's our town manager. And Craig, did you want to introduce your people? So that was the main reason for me to get started. But I'd like to start with introductions, the town people that are here. Kevin Neely, our mayor, is here. Cooley. And, sorry, Kevin. I know Kevin. Shannon Baldwin's here. And Dustin Wakecaster with the fire. Shannon's our town manager. Right, so. And Craig, did you want to introduce your people? So that was the main reason for me to get started. I'd like to start with introductions, the town people that are here. Kevin Neely, our mayor, is here. Cooley. And, sorry, Kevin. I know Kevin. Shannon Baldwin's here. And Dustin Wakecaster with the fire. Shannon's our town manager. And Craig, did you want to introduce your people?
Basically, what happens is it's a drug test, and they test that how many millimeters of blood. And when you get this much blood, they take too much amount and look at it. The record they have a million something active. But my, I guess the two main questions are that they went to South Carolina and they said they have to get on the PPS. And why would that be the case? And if cell count goes down, what do you do? Are you really going to try to keep the rate on cell counts and why do you go into them? Because at some point, something falls and your cell count hits. Like in 10 years when you're doing that much research and being part of it. And you're doing microdosing. So can you answer that with your list? Are you really going to try to keep the rate of cell counts and microdosing? Because at some point something falls and your cell count hits. I'm asking you this because I'm kind of curious and being part of it. So can you answer that with your list? And what about for food supplements? Are you and what reasons do you give for using certain brands in food and and also the outside lighting. The outside lighting, I know that we received some new lights, but we're being charged for them. And about the trees, the Laura Molesky told me that she's been receiving trees because they take late payments. They tend to step in 3 weeks early, and she's getting late payment fees on her bill. And also, the rates that you are paying to count where you're generating the power to dam, what is that rate and when is that going to be renegotiated? And about the trees, and have you had other calls from the utility commissioner, and do they let you know when somebody calls in like that week early? She's getting late payment fees. And how much have our bills increased because of the coal ash pond cleanup? And what other projects like that that are now being having to be managed a different way? And how many rate increases have you been given in the last 2 years? And have you had other, how much has your stock increased? And do they let you know when somebody calls in like that week early? And I'm also concerned about the substation that was charged those lines that were gonna be put through and then the hope of decent county. So if anything came like that, we're just in the board. The comments you'll have here will look like this. But if you have any questions that you have when you're outside the board, you're welcome to fill those out and we'll get you an answer for it. Okay, Greg? Yeah, they, no, Leanna, this is the one we got right here. Okay, I was out our 4 days. I like the phrase to death. I had no cell service. What I want to know, do we ever get reimbursed on our bills for the power that we've gone like 4 days without? You're charging us for those days. Are you refunding us? Okay. All right, that answers that. Any other questions on this subject? We don't have to be any more I was on manufacturing for about 20 years, like 4 days. So I've been in some counties, the county I was in had ambulances before as a Parks and Rec. And I understand, and I was all the time, more frequently than a lot of people would. Yet, literally across the ditch behind me every day, we have fires every time. They don't do anything. ASBO does not have the emergency vouchers that we need PTO for. Is there any way that those of us from Harrison County could be taken out and sick? I'm in Russell, but also President Sheehoff, and all the way up to Grant Mountain. So like I said, anything, the slightest thing that happens towards Cherry Bond, we're all out. I mean, they still have their power because they're in front of it, but it's really, really bad over there. Is it all done, Greg? Me and Kathy. Anybody else have a question? Oh, this is
In the event of my natural disaster that is unavailable, my own building inspector will have a power of 5 hours in the general area operation. And cut ourselves from the rest of the industry and so on. At least they cut ourselves from the rest of the water disaster that used in the country. Not directly.
I have a couple of comments I want to make. Is it at the bottom of the agenda? Right, well, we're gonna find some questions in that. We were out for 4 days. And literally, I don't know if it was for all of us, we were driving back on the 692 road. And we saw a truck sitting in front of us that had trailers. So we didn't want to stop and we were tired. We happened to see a truck in there, so we got in. We didn't see anything doing it, but we put a seatbelt on and right now Okay, this allows other people around us to operate even hours that we live alongside with intelligent today. We have power. Our power is not compensation. Sometimes we have information that has numbers writing down the same content as residents. And we don't have power. All the vote is that you can operate, we can make it operate. That's our whole operation. After all, there's no electric transit. So anyone can watch anything you want to do. As long as it's not tonight. That's about it. Thank you. Right? Very good. Yesterday was the commissioner meeting. Shut your meeting.
I'm happy to do that. First of all, let me just say, thank you all for coming out. We appreciate the opportunity to hear from our customers, service indulgence today and especially at this time, and let the community feedback be listening. We appreciate you doing that. We're also hearing pretty clearly that we're not meeting our expectations in regards to reliability. We've got questions about fuel responses. We're struggling with maybe hiring overnight men to provide demonstrated reliable and thorough electricity. We're not meeting the expectations that we need to go ahead and get started on it. We're not doing that. Of course, using everything we can to make sure we're helping the citizens demonstrate. I'm blessed to work with a team of very competent professionals, and I want to let them introduce themselves to you and talk to you about them, and then I'm going to go and just kind of help you get a face with some names, and we'll start with Brian. If you guys would just, when you introduce yourself, talk about what your normal job is, and then we've had questions about storm response. Also, Commissioner, talk about what your responsibility is during a storm, because we also have a normal job and we have a storm job too, pretty much do that. So Brian, we'll start with you, how you want to get started?
Brian Daly, General Manager for Customer Mobility Operations in Alameda. Brian Jeffrey, North Carolina. I work for Republican Operators, and I'm responsible for all the units that go around that facility.
Yeah, I just want to thank you.
So I'm Brian Daly, General Manager of Customer Delivery Operations in Mountain Valley Tobacco Company. We move everything west of western North Carolina from Cedar West, as well as from Hickory West to most western North Carolina. During a storm, I'm also an incident commander for that same area. So I've got the responsibility for like an incident command for everything that's going on as far as power operations and information for customer delivery operations.
Mountain Valley Electric Board is closed western North Carolina.
Yes.
Reliable and good safety. General Manager Overtime Military Hospital. My department was on February 9th.
That's 1 year.
1 1.
Okay.
Your department,
I'm building construction mechanic for everything.
and Jeff Sutton is the one.
I'm a troubleshooting specialist.
Okay, so usually supervisors come up at building authority, ask us also if you'd like to get more information about the field today, where we're at work today. Try to get us to test it on with some exam questions and everything else too. Your department do the right side on it.
All right, let's jump over here to the engineer, just keep it in order, and then we'll talk about the questions.
I am Mike Lake. I'm the manager of reliability and cover Atlanta County, Mobile, cover state of California, and for
storm located in the Frederick County area, maybe more than, and actually several different items that they may want restoration and helping our customers to unpack it and carrying one thing to the other. Smaller
My question is, are you part of Green Mountain? Are we part of their group? Okay.
I'm Danny Hyman. I'm the PUI head for Centennial Clinic. And my job is restoration and reliability and power quality and pricing and more of all of it. We have no other go out and solve any problems before they occur. And during a storm, I included others.
I'm Ruby Chester, and I'm the employee on site here at Mountain Home, and I will be helping, and I'll be working in Mountain Home. This storm has ruined everything from getting accessories to inside painting.
We'll finish up with our best.
I'm Ron Burkhalter, I'm the manager for our heating and cooling control. Ron Burkhalter, manager for our heating and cooling service program at the UPMC Fairlawn system. Cover all the way from Greenwood, South Carolina, all the way down to Hale, Charlotte, up to Northwest Pearl, Colony, Platte area. We have 9 manufacturing sites, so everything is taken care of on smaller scale, particularly smaller zones. One I can run all that kind of stuff, got that taken care of. We maintain about 15,000 miles of line, between here to Beaver Valley. During storms, typically on the job, I use an emergency operator center. We are looking into the person that's available, free resources that we have for each individual to integrate it. Where there are shortcomings and then looking for additional resources also. That would include anything from a homeowner building stone in certain areas and running it out again. And if that, that runs out, that's a real challenge in residential community areas that we're in. Works with Surgeon Division of Vegetation Management Specialist with Mountain Home, Central South Carolina Food Industry. Basically, my job is to listen to people's complaints and issues and procure and pay every time. Consider that is the local bed specialist that goes out sometimes and we can't go ahead and give him, they call me. We do have issues up here and one thing that hasn't been mentioned yet is our safety fees. One of the reasons is just a short list for state staff. A lot of the times the reason you see a lot of trucks shut down is because of liability to cover on site. We stand in the end and say, okay, now come on out and do what you can find. We're going to do it. Ryan got to investigate and see what kind of damage we got. Then perhaps we could grab vehicles owned partly either not either way. We have to be right for our next season we got there. And we got as many vehicles and truckloads of air that we do. A lot of times when they're out in the open for a shorter period of time, to then be able to work safe. This may sound odd. And I hope you're not on somebody's highway coming off the 21st Street. But anyway, that's my job.
All right, thank you. And you can hear me okay without hearing your mic. So, I was just watching 2 SU.
Fire and fire review.
And I want to make sure you guys, at least I'm able to understand what that means. So I'm kind of a visual person, so I hope you will appreciate the visual as we walk through, and then when we finish, we'll address any questions or other questions that might come up. Come to this board. I don't like it. Then come back to work and finish. Well, I don't know. This thing was not. It's in the corner anyway. There we go. Okay. All right, you got to meet my team here, as Lori mentioned. So this is kind of a quick and basic overview of how the system works. So we got a transmission line that feeds the structure. The structure provides service to all utilities, damage and payment. Okay? So I'm representing that right here. We have a transmission line, 24,000 volts that comes up over the top. Right over here will be my team on my transmission. That provides service to the substation. And there's a transformer there that steps volts down to 12,000 volts that we use on our distribution. Hook kind of to each other. Obviously, we have a transmission up here, distribution down here. So I just want to very quickly show you sort of the basics of our distribution system. It's designed to maximize reliability. It's designed to handle faults on our system, clear those faults, put those fault management, and minimize the impact that there's no mistakes. Believe it or not, most of the faults in our system are secret. So when the burn in the line, or the flow in the transformer, there's a chemical fault that it is, it's firewall, we don't clear that fault, let that burn fall to the ground until it can be actually managed. And one of the devices that does that is this feeder right here. So that feeder right feeds the fault, it overflows just a second, flow falls to the ground, it flows back, it's completely back in the system. There's no damage. And then there's devices similar to the feeder breaker, and when we actually run two feeders, we have one feeder that goes up front or so, and then one on the bottom for the second feeder. Without our feeders, this deep line right here is our main line with the backbone. We want to keep that on as much as possible, just to stay running right through. And then we have taps off of that main feeder. Sometimes it may be a recloser, like a recloser will work either like a breaker that has a closure. It's kind of like a breaker in your home. As soon as the fault triggers, the feeder devices will automatically feed the unit called the burst fault management. Sometimes the other device does a permanent fault like we learned in the previous example. And so that recloser may operate sometimes and lock out, fuse on the user's kind of left. And even if, and I'm showing this card down here, kind of idea, even if you have underground curls, will tap off the main feeder, have a fuse, and then bring it out and transfer our customer. So again, sometimes the engineering objective here is to maximize the customer uptake. When there's a problem, isolate that problem and minimize the damage on the utility. Okay? Not necessarily. I'll give you the details. Let me get to that. This transmission is the idea. So the transmission here talks about up at the top. Our connection to the grid, and you have seen the grid along the way down to Campbell, South Carolina. So we've got a line that comes up from Campbell, up to Furnace shows and the line becomes detail over the front control. That's where you're tapping the grid. There's about 6 miles of tap line on this transmission that comes up to serve the level reduction. Now, you have, in the electrical license for us to have problems with the transmission, our right way of the distribution line like to have exposed heat on the inside. The transmission line does right over 68 feet. So it's 34 feet on the inside. The cold, to reflect the license that we have problems on the transmission system, but sometimes we hit it in the back area of the transformer. We've actually just sorted the internal code right here from that over actually here in Snowstorm, we lost one of our distribution meters, the one that goes up to Bearwood at 12:35 a.m. Sunday morning. We lost the one that goes to Snowstorm. Later that evening, it was 3:15, we lost that first piece of transmission line. We had three on the line here, and three on the line right up here. So that's pretty unusual. We've had only 3 outages on the transmission in the last 9 months. So, completely we did have to come in and problems. Now, you'll see on the transmission, there's really nothing to destroy. And then we see coming in behind us, that comes up because there's a lot of heater laying parts on the transmission. It's really not just a connection failure to another transmission station. So that's transmission. Now, Pat had a question about distribution. So here's our substation down right here. And there's 2 different meters, walkie-talkie flow in one. It's the blue. And the blue is going up to the north, up way Silver Road, and ends up going up through there to 1800 customers on that meter. And this is what we call 1202. I'll call it the town hall meter. It comes over this area, and goes all the way up to the machine, goes all the way up and back here. So, and then in some of these areas, it also depends on how we want the heat bill amount, right now it's 2012. On the map, but you go to the one east, you go past some of the air conditioners, all the way down to the oven, goes all the way down here. So, we'll have a recloser there, we'll have reclosers, we'll have to put in transmission fuses, some of those outages also mean fewer if you look, I'm going all the way to the back page here. There are some customers in Pennville that come, we're about 8 miles away from that substation, so it's pretty away. And up in here, there's actually some service that comes all the way up to Fort Railroad. But it's a long way to other substations. That very field that is there, our generation back to you look at capacity, you look at transmission lines, there's a question of what we stand by doing. If you look, we have 81 miles of exposure on the 1202 computer up here, and we have 40 miles of exposure on the 1201. And you actually have about the number of customers, 1,500 customers here, and right at 2,500. Yeah, this right here is not part of, that's a Eagle circuit, so all this right here, all the way up here to the wall. Burton is going to be served out of the whole property. So let's drill down then on the 75 miles of service from Pennsylvania, where we're you look at that main street backbone running right along the highway, Northern Highway, it's about 5 miles long. That goes in here somewhere. You're pretty directly off of Peter. You know, a lot of people like if you live back in Peter, there's probably a few, some kind of white Peter, and then maybe another Peter. So I'm going to tell you what happened here is 4 town halls, okay? So town halls, we all have, you can, this town hall across from the street. Sure. And then because here downstream of town hall, the town hall has service 8 years after we all go to the rebuild right next to So something happened in the funeral, we don't want to have everybody out all the way up to town. We want to open up the fire to minimize the number of people that are out. So that's a good thing. Bad news was the line Okay, so if we think about, it's almost like water flowing in a pipe. Okay, so here's the source. The source is at the substation. So you gotta have a clean circuit all the way back to the substation. So there's a problem right here past that, what there was in January of 10. The tree falling off the road, Peter broke the pole. Then we could come back up the Miller Way and open the pipe and get all this back on. Downstream, so there's no way that it's going back until we get everything set back. So, you know, if you were in Mecklenburg County, you're in a populated area, then we don't bother. Now, you got the back end, everybody needs to if you look at our Frisco Boys Camp Road, alright, so let's talk about that. So here's Boys Camp Road, so for 5 miles to here, you know that Frisco Boys Camp Road is another 2 miles. And so if we have a problem out here, you don't want to impact our traffic. And so we open up the device here, the device there, we try to minimize the number of getting that. The problem with converting this main feeder backbone to underground is that it condenses too much mud. We know UConn and GovCon put this drain on South Carolina. So we just look at this 5 miles from here all the way back to the substation. This 5 miles is 1,200 cubic yards per foot. And you purposely muddy it out. Okay, so I don't go into the details about building a duct bank, putting conduit in it, pouring concrete on it, so forth. But the plain look at it is there are places where it's inaccessible, where historically key valleys where it may make sense to do that, but it's very difficult to do that in the higher community. So when you think about safety, gravel and forest, to operate our crews, Silverton, North Carolina, or Call State. So if you have a car that is motor state, the library has to get a new car from that. But at the moment, if we had to do that, it's out of your pocket. There's no federal framework or registration to do that. We have the utility commission ordinance, which we have 2 weeks expenditures, and we have in our budget, which is listed on the IRS.
Our county is currently in the process of having to switch their food delivery business. And they're going to be digging strictly in basically in all these funds. Maybe we could look at a partnership opportunity for both of us, might bring down the
Possibly you would. In fact, we've been talking to the town about trying to do certain segments. In fact, we're having a discussion right now, to go from here south towards Louisiana. And we want to do some things with the highway. And so we talked about on the way to the park, we got to put in the bid, to do that field So let me move through this, and then we'll take the question. So we're going to try to, in particular, take off. There's a tube that goes back, tubes on the town, where they would throw driveways, procedures, whatever. And it's hard to get to, engineering or trees that goes out. It's hard to get equipment to store it, and we look over years of data that we get food out of it, then that may accumulate for I don't know the details of that, but usually after running out of that, we address now. You know, it won't say, well, the fever's going up, and we've got to get some very specialized, little, I'll be glad to What area were you in? Right back there towards the water.
about half mile to a mile off Highway 9, 74A. And I'll pay them all over the road, but yeah, we'll always have to buy it.
All right, let's talk about housing. So we got the question about things that the road's done relate to reliability. In the parkway, we talk about road reliability, so I really want to focus on reliability now. Let's talk about what causes housing. And you can see high wind and rain and all in the west. And so the weather that comes from snow, ice, and rain is closely associated with that vegetation. So a lot of our housing comes from vegetation. So we have a right of way that goes early on, particularly 15 feet on either side. And we do a pretty good job maintaining that close right. Sometimes vegetation inside causes an outage. We also get vegetation outside of the right of way. And that's really something that's very stressful for us. Anyway, but it's also something that you see in the mountains terrain because the connection back to that tree, that fall off, the hill in the mountains and come down and hit our land, yes ma'am.
15 feet is about how far from the marijuana? The window to the left?
15 feet is about the end of the zone in the window.
Okay, so a little bit further than the width of the maybe 5 or 6.
let's talk about vegetation management again. We've got a 30-foot right of way. And last year on this circuit, in 2017, prior to that, we had in 2008, the circuit goes up to Fairfield between 2009 and 2013. And all of that, they found those snow Now, having trees, we annually set a fund for having trees, and if you think about, if you cut every tree that fell, it's going to be the art to that, the science to that, you know, is look at those trees and determine which ones are dead, which ones are diseased, which ones are likely to fall. And that's when we're going to get started. If we don't have right around this, we're going to the property owner and say, hey, you're about to get it. We know there's a lot of it.
Is that like instead of determining the one that costs you guys around the number, or you do that once it's got cleared?
It's our conservation management group, and when you get in, and I'll tell you right now, I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit later. So we got a question about that. We don't cut trees on private property. Well, if a tree is on our 30-foot right of way at the road, then we're going to take the tree from that right of way. If it's a dangerous tree that's threatening the people along the road, we're going to cut it. If it's a deterrent going from transport to your house, and you call us and say, hey, I got a tree that's threatening my line, we'll say, okay, we're glad to help you with that. Tell us what day you were tree. We'll come, we'll take it to your house, roll it in a pole, set the tree down, whatever you were doing, and we'll come back. We only tree on trees on public space. The primary line is the Kansas Lady Taylor, Illinois Steel Core line. The primary reason is that right below that is a tree line that are insulated, proper, and when in the home, we own it in this place. If the state look at it and say, you're going to go, I need to do safety, or say, all right, I'll break down if I'm wrong. That's secondary. All right, so we've been doing that since 2018. The ones that look like they were gonna fall, they stay on. They fall. And these guys have looked at the procedure and they can comment on the overall. Then from the right way, I've got one more item on the way. Our line being impacted by the trees on both sides of the road. So when we trees way outside of the right of way, they fall and break all off. They break holes, it takes a long time to acquire trees. So, I mean, that's just part of managing tree traffic. And that's what we do. Reliability enhancements, our pre-existing engineers have been on the left. We've done some things over the years. Past back in, you upgraded the fairground church, you added a second section up there. You installed electronic leaflet that out of the meeting automatically tells you that this season, hey, there's a problem up there, I'm gonna open, all the stuff is out in the back, so that happens automatically. Then you gotta make sure you got, and you know that you need to aim the station, or you can go all the happens automatically. But also install the open air without the feeder. And then long term, and we would like to be able to have that capability to, that took it out of Haynesville. That took it out of Haynesville, have projects, and get that wire there, so that we have that, and then place fall over the it's 30 got parts to see about 1280 circuit. I mean, we're controlling So there's a lot of variables. Historically, when you get farther away from the substation, one of the key reasons is that the wire size increases, so that the wind is like all the way out to the So with that, Bill, surprisingly not, this feeder has performed pretty well. The transmission staff that comes from Turner Joel. In the last 9 years in the use of data, I can find a single problem that we had on that line. Now, we had a problem with a breaker at Turner Joel that resulted in an out. We had a problem with a relay inside the substation that resulted in an out. We had trees on the down below Turner Joel, and we had trees on the I didn't find a problem with that. If the line was buried, it's safe and reliable was the only factor in it. Portable wasn't a big factor. So transmission lines underground are rare. The only thing I know with the transmission is that the Charlotte Air Force underground, having underground transmission lines is not a common thing out there. Well, to get the dollars that we experience, where we want to get here, the underground is down to $30 We've been here 105 years. But not only insurance for their liability, but actually the cost effect in the long run, and hopefully keep them out of the top down the road. So when you think about, the one thing I wanted to propose to you is how, as much as we would like our reliability to improve, it's 99.9, y'all on this, yours is 99. So the way the government really looks at it, let's pull the state up, this light, and we'll talk about, we'll go into issues with our And that was very, I tell them that all the time, it's very easy to do that. We live in Marshall, even in small towns, we truly carry a lot of, we put a lot of tree aside, nobody would ever come back, because there is no other camp around, other than that, when that tree went down, you know, they put it back. And those are kids from the bottom. They all know that, they ever did, one of the challenges is there is the road. More folks on fire that you're going to run more pilot. So it's very, it's not a feasible.
So my director of movie towers, the movie towers, 75 through the tech that is on the side of the tank. He works this side of town, he works alone. He's readily available. Now, something happens, and he's working on something, and he's already got something open up in the bush, or he's putting up wires. Obviously, he's got to finish doing what he's doing for his life over.
We give another chance.
Well, here's the thing, we work our areas, and then we have big crews. Those are the guys that come around and catch outages and do those odds and ends for us. During the day, I don't know if there's any problem. I was a lineman here for a long time and worked this side. I've been here 18 years and was a lineman for a long time. And, you know, I remember getting up and coming up here in the middle of the night and doing all those things. I've changed poles up here 2 times in a day where another tree would fall. And, you know, response time is response time. I live right in the town in Spindale, so, you know, it's 40 minutes for me. You know, all my techs that work for me, I don't have a one that lives in Lake Lure. So.
You should get one. I just moved here full-time.
That's what I
I'd
mean.
really like to see that happen.
So, with that said, at night, when we're on call, if it's in the middle of the night, you know, I check, I get up and I read the reports. If you know, they're calling at 1 o'clock, and that phone call rings at 1, you know, depending on where they live, they better be here within 45 minutes. You know, that's following safety traffic rules driving down the road.
It would be very advantageous to have a tech in the room.
Is there any equipment you can add to the line?
Bill Spring would be.
Is there any equipment you could add to the line to shut the line or make it safer quicker to get the firemen to get the trees off the line? Maybe the line's not laying down on the ground. Maybe it's still up there, but there's a tree over and it's out.
Yeah, we still have to have somebody come there. I mean, you can to verify. Yeah, that it's safe to work.
Where's the life safety issue?
Getting back to your point at the beginning.
You have to know.
So one of those ones.
Yeah, it's safety for your first responders. I mean, you know, your firemen and that sort of thing, they don't want that.
And let me just take a second and say how much we appreciate the relationship we had with the first responders. I mean, our Sandy's folks work with them every day, somewhere in Rutherford County, often here, with fires and things that come up. And sometimes we're not here as quick as they would like for us to. We appreciate their patience, but we have a great working relationship with the town, with the emergency management folks.
Craig, could you just readdress the cost issue of what you all had to pay or cost due, I'm also a stockholder, versus attempting to start to put these lines underground? Looking forward, you must have a 10-year plan or a 5-year plan.
I don't see those numbers. Brian, I don't know if you know what was spent on the snowstorm.
Yeah, I don't have that number on the tip of my finger for the snowstorm.
You know, for a company that's been around so long, you'd think you'd want to get ahead of the problem, especially knowing what it is in advance.
You're paying all these contracts.
I mean, you already know what's causing your problems, and yet you just keep putting a Band-Aid on it, just keep cutting the trees, cleaning them up, rather than trying to get ahead of it.
Well, let me, if I can, without
Sure, I will.
interrupting. Don't anybody leave here with false thought that putting everything underground is gonna cure everything.
Cure a lot of it.
In some cases, it's gonna increase your outages. I was a lineman for 15 years, and I promise you, when you can drive down the road and see a visible issue that you've got, that's one thing. But when it's underground, you got to go back to the op center, you got to go get equipment to locate, to try to find that fault, then you got to dig it up, then you got to splice it, then
the underground piece is not as simple as a lot of folks think.
No, it's not,
And on top of
is it
that,
less likely to happen as often?
You have.
So third-party influence was one of the things on that slide, right? You know, somebody cut a line. That stuff happens, I get it. But all those other things, weather-related, trees,
lightning,
and well, even all of that, I just gotta believe that at some point, especially in an area that's, got a reduced ability to get power to it.
not only is it not as repairable as quickly, with folks being as tree-minded as they are, you're gonna lose a lot of big mature trees when you start digging ditches, because you're gonna cut the roots, and when you do, you're gonna lose those trees.
Well, they're gonna get cut anyway when they fall in line, what's the?
Well, until it falls, we don't have to address it.
So I've got underground utilities at my house, but nothing coming to my house is underground.
I got underground secondary, my primary feed's overhead.
So in Florida, where I was born and raised in a coastal community, we also have underground utilities, and subject to hurricanes, I had less power outages there than I've had here in a year.
Less than a year.
And it wasn't Florida coming late either, I can promise you that.
I think you need to work on the technology a little bit more, so that you can discern a problem when it's underground.
I'm gonna jog out of
I
my
think that's
lane.
moving forward the correct way to go.
I would like to see at some point in one of these meetings, because I talked to people that said we've been to those meetings before, and we haven't seen anything ever get really accomplished. At a future meeting, I'd really like to see what the cost comparison is on money spent over the last 10 years on fixing all of this, than it would have been had we just gone ahead and started using that money to get ahead of the problem. I mean, I gotta imagine that somebody has looked at that.
If you look at the system, like we have a system in Florida, their vegetation challenges are much different than what you have here.
I get that, yeah.
And the hurricane impact, I mean, there's not a person that from Duke at this table that hasn't been to Florida and worked hurricanes for weeks. And they are sporadic. They don't hit one particular area every time. It's a difficult comparison to compare an area with lightly vegetated spans of a different type of trees, like palms, different things of that nature, to what you have here. And so, and also, jogging on the lane just a little bit, I've been with the company 31 years, and I've done a lot of what a lot of these folks at the table have done. But when you talk about like burying lines, that line represents a certain amount of capacity to serve future needs. And you got to take that amount of capacity and you got to build it to go underground. The switch gear, the cable, the technology, the redundancy that you need to build into it drives the cost up tremendously. And you get these one-time shots of the big storms that hit, and they have an impact and do budgets for, you know, trying to deal with storms and things of that nature. But the amount of money involved in taking that system and designing it so that you have the ability to maintain that capacity and serve future needs, it starts significantly driving up the cost of that system. And without the redundancy, to some of what Terry's point was earlier, you increase the difficulty in troubleshooting, and you don't have, you got to have loop systems, like you got something that fails here so you can switch it around. It's, you know, you can't just ride down the road and know exactly what the problem is. It's a lot more involved troubleshooting.
I get what you're saying, and I would suspect the cost to do that everywhere would be, you know, unfathomable. But to me, identifying a few problematic areas and trying to simplify my problems going forward in those areas that stand out would make sense.
Yeah, I agree.
I've also had property in a place called Roan Mountain, Tennessee, which is, I think the property we have is probably around 5,000 feet. I was at the end of a line. Mine was the last cabin, last 20 acres being fed, and quite frankly, I'm not sure who our power was up there, I can't remember, but I don't remember the power going out one time.
Yeah,
And that's how much more movements than it is here.
and we have examples of similar situations. I think, if y'all don't mind, I would like to take a little bit of time just to talk to you a little bit about our vegetation program, to kind of let you know where we've been, where it's going. I think maybe that might help a little bit as far as, so what we've been doing up to now is we've used a reliability model that has served us well. I mean, there's a lot of statistics that go into determining what circuits we cut, when we cut. We collaborate with our EQR&I folks, and we would build our work plan for the year, and we would establish, okay, what circuits we're going to do, and we execute the plan. And the cycle times using that plan, in some cases, they might have gone longer than probably what we wanted to. But if the reliability was good on the circuits, we tried to spend our money effectively. For like you guys that own some stock here, we're trying to be very effective on where we do spend our money. So that's where we've been. Where we're at now, we're transitioning to what's called a 579 plan on the Duke Energy Carolina footprint. That means circuits, we have some old urban circuits that are like in some of your, like you go downtown Greenville, downtown Charlotte, you got those large old growth oaks that, you can't go in there and just go ground the sky clearing, and it requires a little more time. So we're going to put those circuits on a 5-year cycle. Go in there, trim up a little less biomass, at the time, have less impact on those communities that really would have just be devastated if we come in there and ground the sky like we need to clear those up. The 7-year cycle is where you guys fall into. That's the mountain zone vegetation plan. We're going to work to get every mountain circuit on a 7-year cycle. Currently, like I said, this other circuit that we just getting ready to start here in Lake Lure, been about 10 years or so since it's cut. Now, we'll tell you, I wrote it. The maintained right-of-way actually looks pretty good on it. There's some areas starting to grow in, and it's probably time it's time for us to be there. But when we get on this 7-year cycle, the benefit in going to the 7-year cycle is you're going to get the full maintained right-of-way that we maintain. Plus, that circuit will also get the advantage of any danger tree we categorize as dead, disease, dying. We're going to be looking for those, and you'll get that across the entire circuit. So that's one benefit there also. We do conduct a hazard tree program for all circuits not on the trim plan for that year. We do just the 3-phase backbone portion of the circuit. That is done for scale, to do the full scale of all 3 phases, all single phase. Remember I talked about we got 52,000 miles of line that we maintain on the distribution side. To do that, it's just, like I said, looking effectively how we get the best bang for the buck. We are targeting the 3-phase feeders. That's like, when I say 3-phase, that's like this main feeder that comes through town. We're doing danger tree and hazard tree assessment across that all those lines every year. We take down thousands of trees. And these are trees that are outside the right-of-way. And as we do go through, we do find, a tree that's inside the right-of-way that's dying. We'll also target those. But the main part of the program is to target those dead trees outside the right-of-way. So it's a pretty comprehensive program from that perspective. And like I said, going from where we've been at about a 10-year cycle, maybe even in some cases a little longer than that, to a 7-year cycle, the communities, our staff, our linemen working at night, I think we're all going to benefit from that. Now, that doesn't totally eliminate, like the situations this year, at 140 inches of rain. Riding through the area, I've seen numerous examples of eroding banks, compromised root systems on trees, and that's happening quickly, in a short period of time. Like from last year when we rode, all that exposure, all that weather exposure you guys have had this year has presented some enormous challenges. So you'll just understand where we were, where we're going, I think is going to help improve. And we have you guys will probably get mailers or notifications if your church is involved in this, but another piece of our right-of-way program is a herbicide program. where we maintain the floor of the right-of-way, trying to keep it clear. And every 3 years, every circuit that we have, we do come in with volunteer growth, or the pines are coming up. I don't know if you've ever been through, you see some utilities, they've got all these small pines just growing up into the line, and pines grow fast. And we'll come in, spray those, and keep the floor clean, keep that right-of-way clear. So that's another very important part of our program. We do have a contractor that Southeast Woodlands, that does our work for us in that area. And so that's the comprehensiveness of the program. Maintained, like in this part of the Carolinas, it's a 30-foot right-of-way that we maintain. Hazard tree program and the curbside program.
Let's just say I'd like to see your division double their budget so that they can do more vegetation.
We are doing more vegetation. We're doing about 35% more miles this year in the overall Carolinas than we did the year before. To get to that 579 plan that I was talking about, we've got to spend more money. And that's where we're going.
And I know the rain has created a lot of
problems. I mean, I know there were years, in previous years, we might have only trimmed 3,000 miles total system. Last few years, we've been averaging 5,500. This year, we're targeting over 6,000 miles, and that's the Duke Energy Carolina footprint I'm talking about. So we are investing more in cutting more, and like I said, to reach that 579 plans, we will have to spend more.
Ron, do you respond to customers' notifications, not necessarily complaints, but if people call you and say, look, I think this is going to come down in the next rainstorm?
Yeah, the preferred method of what we would like for you to do is to call the 1-800-777-9898 number and report. Like if you see a tree, you guys are out in the community, you see something that don't look right, if you call and report it, give a good contact number, so like if we have difficulty finding it, maybe we can talk with you, you can help zero us in on it. But you call that number, get a job established, and you don't hear from somebody, should reach out to you and make a phone call within 10 days, okay?
You do respond to it?
Yes, if you don't hear from somebody, definitely let us know. But that is the preferred method. Calling in, you get a job established, it's automatically dispatched out to the field.
What was the number she wants to know?
Okay, it's 800-777-9898.
Be sure you write down the job number.
That's
so
exactly right.
When you call back to say you have,
And what I would
that's the only thing
recommend,
they need to refer.
Okay.
and what I would recommend, like
Okay.
you got that, if for some reason, if you have some trouble getting hold of it, Craig has a relationship with the town here. They've got communications, they can say, hey, he can help, maybe through the town, I'm gonna volunteer for something, Craig, but I think we already kind of have that in place already. But honestly, if it wasn't for the firewall we have at Duke Energy, getting private emails, I'd give you my email. But there's a good chance it would get caught up in the firewall.
No, as long as we would know, or I would know as a homeowner on West Camp Road, that you are going to respond to a phone call or complaint or notification of impending doom.
So we had a question, and I'm looking at our follow-up questions, and I don't know how long y'all want to stay, but Pat, you had a question about the cell towers. And, we don't maintain service to cell towers. What we generally see, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, is generally they're gonna have a backup generator at a cell tower, because they know that it's subject to go out. And so they should be able to fully perform during the event of a power outage.
Well, this one didn't, and
Yeah.
so I've asked the town about a second cell tower somewhere.
I can speak to that a little bit, Pat.
Okay. Yeah.
So the 500 or so trees that went down in that really big snowstorm at Island Creek Road, those power poles don't run this power. You've got fiber lines, you've got
Right.
copper connector phone lines, everything went down in this. This was a once in a lifetime sort of thing. I think it's how a lot of us are seeing it. I mean, you've got a lot of big feeders running into that one spot. Your cell towers work, but a lot of them are running through physical fiber lines now. using fiber optic lines that run to those towers, and the generator might kick on, but if they don't have a data connection.
And that's what happened when Skyrunner went out also.
Yeah.
And there was the fiber optic
Yeah.
lines that went down, even though they
A
had
few
towers.
select people in town have old AT&T copper DSL.
The
managed to
old
keep-
people do that.
Well, I rented a property and I had to actually pay the landlord to use the AT&T because I couldn't put it in my name. But I needed the internet at the time. So those copper lines, a few people were able to keep it, but fiber is running the network and it's running on those same power poles now. And that's what really, I mean, that hurt us this last time. And it's hard to gauge how that could actually come to fruition.
So let me catch a follow-up question. There was a question about the truck sitting, and I want to address that right quick. And you heard the tree truck sitting, and that's going to be common. We need them, to be there. So when we go up and we find a problem, we're able to get them. But we're also continually bringing in resources. During the storm, we brought 100 vehicles up from Charlotte up to support Spindale Ops Center, and some of them probably ended up here. So there was a period when we called Isothermal Community College, hey, we want to use that parking lot we use sometimes. And for about 2 hours, it was full of trucks. I mean, you got to have a place to stage them before you give them an assignment and send them out. So, we're moving resources all the time, and what you're seeing is vehicles who just finished the job and they've staged, getting ready to go to the next one, or they're coming from another area. But, you got to stage them in a big parking lot somewhere. So trust me, if there are resources that can get wires back on, Alton and his team their goal is to maximize their utilization. So I think there's a lady asking questions about programs and hot water and all that. Maybe we take that offline if that's okay after the meeting. And we'll just focus on reliability. But yes, sir, we got a question.
I was just curious, and it may be something that's readily available that I'm not aware of, but does Duke offer any sort of discount, financing incentive, what have you, to help those of us who live here afford, say, a generator?
Yay, that was my question.
We do not. We have programs that will help you put in a high efficiency heat pump and do weatherization things at your home. Remember, we're a regulated utility and we're cost-based, and our charter is to provide least cost service. So all the money that we have comes out of your pockets. The commission hadn't said, that we could set up a program to finance generators. So unfortunately, we don't.
Put that in the suggestion box for me.
I'm sorry, back here.
Is there a benefit to concrete poles versus wood poles?
That sounds like an engineering question.
Is there a concrete pole that you saw, or just curious what sparked the question?
Seems like in more recent years, when new construction going up, they're using concrete poles versus wooden poles.
So it depends on number of things, location, so if you go down, gentlemen's from Florida, I'm sure you've seen plenty of hurricane, poles with concrete as the material used, and that's, they got to withstand hurricane force winds. So it depends on location. Another thing where you might see a concrete pole would be on a major DOT type highway, or another option is where maybe location is inside a wetland. Wood would rot, so it would go with another material like concrete. Widespread on the distribution system, by far material choice is wood, just because we have so many assets of poles that it's kind of the most affordable option for what we need, purpose-wise. A concrete pole is very expensive in comparison to that, so you're talking on the hundreds of dollars, where a concrete pole is going to be in the tens of thousands of dollars, depending on the application.
Yes.
Our insurance, or the electricity rates for here in maintenance, cost areas higher than areas further to the east in the Piedmont? Do we pay for having all the problems up here?
That's a great question. No, our costs are average over the entire Duke Energy Carolina system. So our rates are set by the Utilities Commission. They're based on the prudent costs that we incur. We have to report that to the Utilities Commission. So no, you don't, we require more maintenance in the mountain zone than we do some other zones, but all that, those costs get averaged in. So you pay the exact same kilowatt hour cost as somebody in Charlotte or Gastonia or Reed. And you're right, when you're out, the meter's not turning. So
Rutherford Electric seems to be able to take care of their issues much quicker. Is there a reason for that as opposed to the timeliness that Duke takes to respond?
I don't know that if we looked over a long period of time that there would be an appreciable difference. I would be surprised if there was. You guys work alongside. I would be surprised. I would think we can pull from our brethren in the Midwest, and which we did for the snowstorm. We'll bring folks up from Florida. And by the way, if there's going to be a group assigned to your community in 12 inches of snow, you probably want the Midwest people. You want the Florida folks. So I don't know the answer to your question. I would like to think we're better than them, but I have no data to support that.
Our safety rules are different. They are.
I just know if the electric got on a lot quicker for my neighbors than they did for me.
And a follow-up question, somebody asked about maps earlier. The phones and the computers wasn't working well up here. They were sitting in Ingles. Somebody, I can't remember who asked the question at the beginning, but I had paper copy maps were given out to all the field leaders. We have them on standby at the office like always, and I probably ended out at more than 50, I'd say, to our leaders out in the field out there.
During the Party Rock fire, the fire service brought in the cell boosters, the generators, I call them truck boosters. Does Duke Energy have those for situations like that, or is it really not a necessary item on the grand scheme?
No, all we have is the portable substation. If the station were to go out or we lose a substation,
yeah,
that malfunction, sometimes we bring a portable in for that, yes.
Would you, in your professional opinion, would you recommend people that live here full-time to have reliable service more often to get a home generator?
Well, I'll tell you what I did the night before they were calling for the snow at my house. I went and dug out all my camping supplies. And so, yeah, I mean, you need to have a plan. Again, it's not a question of if your power goes out, it's when your power goes out.
Yeah.
So if I were you and they're calling for a big snowstorm, I would be thinking, you know, my power could be up in 3 days. What am I going to do? I think I'll put all my frozen food in the back of my car Saturday and go visit my sister in Savannah, Georgia.
But instead of having to do that often, would it
Or get a generator.
Or get a generator. But there is no program that Duke is going to, you don't see in the future that they would have some kind of incentive for a $12,000 to $20,000 investment that we.
So again, all the money that comes out of your pocket, you can talk to the people who never have outages and say, how would y'all feel about paying a little bit more every month so we can subsidize generators in the mountains? And you're like, that's their problem.
So I'm assuming that this meeting was held with you guys understanding you're going to be like in front of a firing squad, right? I assume that.
I'm not sure they.
All the time.
I did a match plus out of the desk a number of times to know like a bitch session when I see it coming, right? But just for gratification purposes, the consensus of the meeting really from a power outage standpoint, what I'm gathering is the remedy here is moving up the tree cutting plan from 10 years to 7 years to 5 years. Is that kind of?
Well, the 7 years for the mountain, what you guys call it, the 5 year was disciplined, that's a category of circuits that we only have about 2,000 or 3,000 miles of that, but that's an old urban category. And those are in your inner city kind of areas, back line.
Well, my question is, that's kind of the what's on the table to solve the problem at this point?
Well, that's from a vegetation perspective. You know, that's where we're going as far as the maintain the lines. These unexpected outages, you know. The optimal cycle is, from all the data we have, looks to be about like a 7-year cycle for the mountains. And that's why we've gone to the commission and we sold this 579 plan. So that's how it came about. But some circuits, do better, they, 9 years on our, they may be fine for 9 years, a little more, and that category is other, we do have, that's the majority of the miles that we have. And they'll be on like a 9-year cycle, but everything that applies to you guys in this room is a 7-year cycle where we're going.
So that's on the vegetation side. On the reliability side, the stuff that my team's doing, specifically Danny, who covers this area, we're looking at certain outages that hit a certain threshold of greater than 500 customers is what Danny identified. And we're reviewing, looking at those outages, seeing if there's, anything that we can initiate a follow-up work order to maybe get veg engaged. There's a certain problem in this area, or, do a field review. Maybe there's a piece of equipment that, needs to be proactively replaced. There's a number of things that we're looking at following an outage to try to prevent, ideally, that next outage from occurring. Do we get it every time? No. What I'd like to see, better performance out of the Lake Lure area, 100%. It's just a very challenging area, terrain, different things that, you all are intimately familiar with in the location. And so that's just, those are the things that we look at. We have programs, so we have different buckets of money that if it meets the right criteria, we can kind of initiate a project and kick that off to look to do something different, to provide that better, customer experience that, make those improvements. I hope that helps you with.
We hope you consider less than 500 customers, because a lot of Lake Lure is that.
And there's different thresholds. That's just one of our main focus areas, because we don't want to have a large outage. That's the most impacting to a community, right? When you're 1,000 customer outage, that means, everything out in town, so those are one of our areas of focus, but there are other threshold follow-up investigations.
Thank you, Kyle.
I'd like to give you at least a little bit of a left-handed, backhanded compliment. It goes like this. You're really pretty good at knowing when I go to my text or my 1-800-POWER on or whatever, of knowing that the power is out at my house when I tell you it's out at my house. Now, are those some of those automated switches that tell you where things are right away so you know? Okay. That's the compliment. That's good. But it's always me and 1,363 of my closest friends.
I'm curious, how many of you were here in March of '93 when you had a little talk zone? Okay, now that was
Mr. Mayor?
Just, I had a quick question here at the end. I know we're trying to wrap up, but,
Speak up, Kevin.
I know that you guys outsource a lot of different services, particularly during emergencies, trimming and tree work. Is it ever the case, or would it be possible if a local community had someone who was properly trained and certified to respond to these outages locally? For example, so it did take 50 minutes or an hour or whatever. Would it be possible that even if you didn't have an employee living in Lake Lure, if we had someone living in Lake Lure perhaps that wasn't an employee but was here and was properly trained, so in the event of that type of situation, they could respond on your behalf? Is that possible?
From a safety and from a reliability standpoint, I can't see that would ever be feasible to do. I mean, we have contractors that go out and respond and diagnose and repair, but I mean, they have to be under our contractor umbrella. They have to follow our safety rules. So when they roll up, it's just like a new truck rolling up. So, I mean, you would have to have that level of certification to do it. So that would be difficult.
So, thank you all for saying, so from a right-of-way standpoint concerning the DOT, your lines clearly are on one side of the road or the other. The other side of the road is partially DOT, partially private land. The town Lake Lure manages an almost 27 miles of road that are probably off the Memorial Highway, I imagine. What role does the DOT play in that opposite side of the right-of-way, on the other end of the road? And as citizens, is there anything we can do with DOT in informing them about trees and other issues that may cause road issues? There's, north of the resort right now, there's a massive washout there. And, you know, community citizens seeing like root compromise and those things happening very quickly because of the rain. Is there something that we can do?
DOT told me in 2018, they stopped at the road. So the big washout by our driveway is
Yeah.
just gonna go.
I've been to some conferences lately, and DOT did some presentations. Now, this is more around your major thoroughfares and highways. You know, over the years, they've let trees grow in near the roads, and I didn't realize really the reason they keep those cut back is for like icing. You don't want a lot of shadowing on the roads for creating ice. Now, I don't know how much this applies to like secondary type roads, but they are spending more money and putting more concentrated effort on the main thoroughfares to go in and reclaim those areas and widen them out. And they do have, it would be worth contacting them, like you've got a tree that's a specific hazard that you say, well, this is gonna fall, could fall on a car. I think they need to help you out and respond to those and get those, because they do have resources to do that kind of
It's all in how you deliver the message.
Yeah, that's
A lot of people misunderstand our right of way width too. We don't work off of the road right of way.
It's off the pole.
From center line that pole, both ways.
Yeah.
So half of the road may be involved and the other half may not be. You know, Chris crosses the water.
Yeah, and that's why the other side of the road is always interesting. When you're coming in, you turn at Larkins, you hit those first couple of curves, you see the root compromise.
Well, that's,
we've had double the rain over previous years.
I came in that way this evening, and if you look, there's a lot of big trees that's laying down, that the root, that the the trunk of the tree is higher than our pole is up on the hill, and it came down, and when it was cut off, you got the stump sticking out on the side of the road. So that's what another thing we're talking about trees outside the right of way. That's the biggest portion of our problem up here.
And it's a challenge of living in the natural.
Yes.
Yeah, I have more or less a complaint, I guess. We have that 27 outages problem in that cave.
That's the only one that I called in. Those are the ones she's called in 9 months.
So our neighbor, who we formed a little group, and he's an attorney, he sent a letter in, and he had no response to the letter as to what we could possibly do to him. My question is, when we have a major question like that, who do we get in touch with? I mean, you can dial different numbers, but nobody responds to individual problems that we face.
We're not 500 people, we're only a group of people coming up Highway 9 that always have our power out.
But
We're at the
yeah,
end of the line.
We had no response at all. And it was a formal letter.
If Shannon's willing to play that role, I mean, anything that you want to send to him, he can send to me.
But we're not in the town of Lake Lure.
Oh.
We are bad.
We're all in Henderson County.
We're in Henderson County.
It's the island in between.
Yeah,
But it's another way, we get contact, we sent a letter to that, we get a response, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot of challenges in providing service to this spot we're standing. The further you go, I mean, you can expect more outages.
If you send a letter, there should be a response to it.
Yes, sir, there should. I'll give you my card and I'll be glad to follow up on the letter.
So who do we contact? Somebody have a card?
Okay,
I'm out of here.
ends it. Mayor Kevin would like to say a few words, thank the town for doing this, thank all you guys for coming, and if you want to wrap things up.
Sure, I'll go ahead and wrap that up. Yeah, well, first of all, I want to thank the public for coming and for taking the initiative, Pat. I want to thank you for speaking up. And the voice of the citizens is really important. You know, the town council is, you know, we represent the citizens, but I think that when the message comes directly from them, it's a little more powerful and a little more factual, because these are folks that are actually experiencing that. I want to thank Duke for bringing this whole group here. That's pretty impressive. You know, bring the people that can answer the questions and the people who are on the front line, the people that we're expecting to respond here to answer, and that's impressive, and the town thanks you for that. I mean, I really think the takeaway from this is that you guys are going to try your best to improve the response to outages and reduce the number of outages, and you're going to do that through the vegetation program. At least that's what I'm hearing. I think we'll continue to monitor things, and if we hear things, we'll speak up, you know, as a town. It's important to us that not just town hall, but the citizens have service. So with that, there was this sheet that we prepared in the expectation that it's possible that some of the questions would have gone beyond, or you have questions that go beyond Duke's ability to answer them, issues that may be more related to the town and its operations. So if you have that, you have a question that didn't get answered, use the sheet, and we'll do our best to answer that. Tomorrow evening is our monthly town council meeting, and we always invite and encourage the public to come. We have a public comment session. If you choose to, you didn't think of something tonight for us, you can do that. So I guess with that, Pat, that's my wrap up.
Give the folks a
So